Look, of course, we, like everybody, are very concerned that as we start to move to ease restrictions, that we are more vigilant than ever in terms of the health risk. We're not out of that risk zone, as we all have been saying, and for us, we're very concerned that we keep front and centre of our mind who's at risk, people who are in insecure housing, people who are in overcrowding conditions, older people, others who remain very vulnerable to this virus spreading again, and so we must be really careful about this. Having said that, of course, we also are very worried about the economic impacts for people. The doubling of unemployment are devastating for so many people, and so we all need to come together now to focus on how do we appropriately, responsibly open up more job opportunities, and make sure that we learn our lessons from the past about avoiding a long tail of unemployment. None of us want to see that, and we know young people are really at risk. Women, all those casuals who have been left out of the JobKeeper program, we're all very worried about the situation for them, of course.
There's some reports in the Nine newspapers this morning, Cassandra, that some MPs are reporting that people have quit their jobs because JobSeeker doubled. Have you heard that before, and how much of a concern is that to hear?
Oh, look, our concern is that the JobSeeker payment needs to be adequate to protect people from poverty. And look, the poverty line for a single person it's $500 per week. We absolutely backed the very important decision the government made to double that JobSeeker payment. And we know what's happening with that money is people are spending it because they desperately needed the income support relief. And so that's also really good for the economy, that we do have that money circulating in the real economy, helping to keep some demand there. We are urging the government to work with us now on fixing the social security system so that it does protect people from poverty. And also, of course, we are opening up and creating those jobs, making sure that the interaction between social security and the labour market is right for the long term.
But that must be frustrating for you, or is it disappointing that people are in effect giving up their jobs because they can get more money on JobSeeker?
Look, Peter, I don't have that kind of large-scale problem being presented to me. Okay. What I have is people who have been going without food, going without medicines, finally for the first time being able to cover some of those basic costs that they've not been able to. Those payments have only just hit people's bank accounts from the 27th of April, and the early signs, as I say, are very encouraging about what people are doing with those funds. So the bigger problem we face, of course, is a doubling of unemployment, the fact that we've got the notion of going back to $40 a day, which was the old New Start rate, which would be effectively a halving now of that job seeker rate, would be devastating and brutal for people who cannot find paid work. We can't underestimate the challenges that are presented to us with this labour market. I don't think there's any suggestion here that we are flush with jobs out there. We are not. And people are making very tough decisions about how to get by, even with the doubling of that job seeker payment. So I think we need to focus on the big issues facing us now as a country, which is our health risk and, of course, the risk of long-term unemployment for far too many people who risk being left behind.